Alright, so this is the instruction video for AeFx, and you're going to start in in Photo Booth right here, and we want to go into video mode, and you can use the effects, right? Yay! Okay, so, if you want to use the effects, feel free to use your effects. You need about a 10-second video here, so I'm going to click on this guy right here. And all right, so that's about 11 seconds. So basically, what you're doing was looking at things on the screen that we're going to add to it, right? Okay, so just make any video you want for 10 seconds, and we're going to add some cool motion graphics to it, okay? So I'm going to keep this open, and I'm going to go to After Effects, right? The purple AE, go to After Effects, and I want to click New Project, and then New Composition. I'm going to call this composition AeFx, and 1920 by 1080, 30 frames per second, and I want to make this video, this composition 10 seconds. 10 seconds. Make sure you got that 10 semicolon 00 there, right? And click OK. All right, and now I'm going to go to Photo Booth, and I'm going to drag that 11-second video into my Assets panel up here. And then I'm going to drag that down into my Layers panel so that I have that there. Okay, and it's 10 seconds, right? 10 seconds. All right. Now, I'm going to add 3 effects, built-in effects. The first one's going to be bubbles, okay? So, I've got to go up here to Layer, New, Solid, and I need to set my color to the color that you want the bubbles to be. So I'm going to go with, actually I'm going to go with some black bubbles. And I'm going to click OK. And then I'm going to click OK. So actually, so it's black, right? It should be covering black. And now I need to go get the bubble effect. So that's going to be found under the Effects panel here, or the Effects in the File menu up here, in the menu, top menu. And I'm going to go down to Simulation and go find Bubbles. Okay, and now I have bubbles. I can hit the space bar, and you can see that those bubbles kind of float up. There are, hit the space bar again, put the scrubber back to 0. There are some settings you can play with if you want. First of all, if you decide you don't want black bubbles, you want a different color, you could go up here to Layer, Solid Settings. Make sure you select the layer that you want to go to the settings of. So Layer, Solid Settings, and then here you could change the color if you want. If you decide, oh, I want magenta bubbles or red bubbles or blue bubbles, you could change the color. Okay, so let's say we want to go with blue bubbles instead, or maybe you want magenta bubbles, or maybe you want green bubbles, right? I'm going to stay with black though for this one because I want to use the other colors for the other effects. All right, then click OK. But I just want to show you that that's how you could change the color of the bubbles. You could also change some of the details. So you're going to twirl open this bubble layer here, and you have the effects, and you have the CC bubbles. And so here you can control the amount of bubbles, right? You can add more bubbles to it, or you can adjust the speed of the bubbles, how fast the bubbles move around. You can do the wobble amplitude, so how much they wiggle, and how often they wiggle. You can play with that. Bubble size, you can change the size of the bubbles. And then you can also, let's see, what else can we do? We can look at composition settings. That's just opacity. That's fine. We don't want to mess with that. Anyway, and then there were also reflection type. So we have liquid or metal. How do those look different? I don't know if there's going to be much of a difference there. Keep it at liquid. And then we can fade out, or we can fade in, which is the default, or we could darken the bubbles or lighten the bubbles, however we want. Ooh, those look kind of cool. I might go with the light. You do what you want, though. But it's always good to uncollapse all the settings so we're not too confused on our timeline here, on our layers panel, right? So there, now it shows the changes that we just made. Okay, so now scrubber back to 0. Want to add another layer. We're going to do particles. We'll put some particles on the left, and then we'll do some other stuff on the right. So I'm going to go up here to layer, new, solid. This time I'm going to go with blue. And on this one, I'm going to call this Mr. Mercury, because that's the name of the effect. Okay, so you should see a solid fill of blue. Then I'm going to go to Effect, Simulation, and I want to go down to Mr. Mercury. Okay, and now if I hit the space bar, so there's my Mercury flowing out of the center. I want to move that actually, so I'm just going to click on this guy right here, and I'm going to move that. I'm going to move that up to the top up there. So now it'll come out of the top on the side there. And just like this, the effects, just like we had on the bubbles, we can change the Mercury effects and play around with some of these settings. I'll let you kind of explore those, what they do, okay? For the sake of a shorter video here. But go ahead and play around with those settings. See what happens. And finally, I want particles. I think I want some school colors particles. So I'll have them start as maroon and then fade to white. So maroon and white. So I'm going to go layer, new, solid. And on this one, it's going to be particles. So this would be like fireworks. And I'm going to change the color to a maroon color. Click OK. Oh, click OK up here, then click OK here. That's kind of our school color. And then I'm going to go to Effect, Simulation, and go down to Particle Systems or Particle World, either one. I'm going to go Particle Systems 2. So now you can see the spray, and it's not the color we wanted. That's okay. I'm going to move that over here. Okay, up in this corner here. Yay. Okay. And then, let's see. I do want to play around with the colors, so I'm going to twirl open Particles and go to Effects and go to Particle Systems. And I'm going to go down, let's see, birth rate, longevity, proofs of physics, particle. Look at the particle. So here's our two colors. So it starts off, the birth color is yellow. So I want to change that to that maroon color. I guess didn't really take the color we wanted earlier. So there's the maroon color. And then I want it to be white. It fades to white. All right. Scrubber back to 0. And let's take a look at that. Yay! And that's it. 10 seconds of wonderful After Effects effects. All right, so let's submit that. Hit the space bar, scrubber back to 0 just to be on the safe side. We're going to go up here. Oh, so now we also want to save it. So Command S, and we're going to call this AeFx in your documents. Save it. Now we need to export it. So File, Export, Add to Render Queue. Not yet specified. Click on that link, aefx.mp4 in the documents. Click Save, then click Render, and it will render that wonderful video for us. And now you can turn it in. All right? Enjoy this assignment. and give it some effort, especially if you're caught up. Give it some effort. Maybe go see what some of those other effects can do. Just use that same technique of adding a solid layer and then pick the different ones and see what happens. All right? Feel free to expand on this for extra credit. All right. Good job.